So today we have our guest, Dana Meadows, who is a loan officer here in the Lake Norman area. She's with the Meadows team at Movement Mortgage. She's got some tips for small business owners if they're looking to purchase, and also some tips of how she grew such a big business. So enjoy. All right, welcome back to the Lake Norman Small Business Podcast. Myself, Ryan Weber, Danny Decker, and we have our guest, Dana Meadows, here. And if you don't know Dana, you've probably never closed a house here in the Lake Norman area, but she does loans for the Meadows team, who is with Movement Mortgage. So Dana, great to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of your background of like how you got into mortgages? Like, that's such a fun career that everyone knows nothing about.
Absolutely. Well, ignore my voice. So a little scratchy with allergies right now. But I have been in the mortgage industry for 18 years. I fell into it by accident. I was laid off from a playground manufacturing company here in Mooresville and was on unemployment. And my husband ran into our mortgage broker and said, my wife needs a job. So she hired me working part-time, making less than I was making on unemployment. Yes, but I was not meant to be a stay-at-home mom, so I was just happy to get out of the house. But not long after I started with her, her husband fell very ill, and I got my license and kind of ran her business while she took him out of state for treatments. Just before the crash, she shut down and moved completely to South Carolina, and I went to Wells Fargo for a number of years. Did the refinance boom, did specialized in renovation loans, and then fast forward, I moved over to Movement. This is my 11th year with the company, and started with Movement. I was probably a $10 million a year producer, and last year we closed almost 350 loans for about $125 million.
Wow.
Yeah, Danny didn't know the numbers. I don't know the exact number. I know you do a lot. Like you're a big dog in the mortgage industry. You won't ever say it, but I'll say it for you. And I didn't know the actual numbers. I was like, wait till Danny hears these numbers.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
So, Movement Mortgage. I actually am friends with the owner of Movement, the guy that started it, Casey Crawford. His wife went to my CrossFit gym when I owned it back in the day. Was really, really good friends with him. I don't talk to him quite as much anymore. He's a little busy. But what made you choose Movement Mortgage? You can choose wherever you want to go to hang your lending hat.
Right.
Why'd you pick Movement?
Well, a couple reasons. I mean, first and foremost, you've got to be able to get a loan closed, and you've got to be able to provide the best customer service, a wide range of products for your clients. But it's also what the company does with its profits. Mm-hmm. We are an impact lender. And what that means is we take our profits and we do things in the communities where we operate. Movement currently has, I believe, 4 charter schools in operation in Charlotte. They just got 3 more schools approved, 2 more in Charlotte and 1 in Raleigh that they'll be building in the coming years. But we provide free education to kids in underserved areas. And I was at President's Club last week, and we heard from the president of Movement Schools, and those children are outperforming their peers at Charlotte-Mecklenburg school systems.
I guess that's a decent. So you're one, closing deals, but then also you're giving back to the community, which is then outperforming the traditional school system.
Absolutely. And we just started a new initiative that we're rolling out now, this whole impact lending. We are going to be telling each of our clients after they close what their loan, the profits made off of their loan, how many children it either provided backpacks for, meals for, or tuition for.
That's cool.
So that's something that we're going to
really
start
cool.
sending out to each client after they close.
Yeah, I think that's a really powerful thing. I'm sure you've worked with a lot of people, Danny, that do stuff like that. And you know, from your business and marketing background, like when you can relate your profits back to doing good in the community, like
100%.
It's so much more impactful.
Well, you know, I do a lot of work with law firms, and so they have a lot of opportunities to make an impact, whether it's on, you know, scholarships or, you know, just lots of opportunities to give back to the community. And that is just really, really cool when you can help people feel like they're part of something bigger than, you know, than just a business transaction. So that's really cool.
And the company actually inspired me to take part of my commissions and give to local charities. So Movement's building schools. We do things throughout the country with water drives in Arizona in the summertime. We do international mission trips. But they've inspired me to take a portion of my commissions and I give to Present Age Ministries, which is a ministry that combats teen sex trafficking, and then also Food for Days, which is a local backpack ministry.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So Dana, I have a question for you because you mentioned you kind of just fell into mortgage lending kind of by accident, right? And it's funny how often you actually hear that as a story for successful entrepreneurs. Like, I thought I was going to be in finance and I happened to graduate in 2008 as the financial world was.
I thought I was going to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah. And so it's like, but so my question for you is like, at what point did you realize, wow, like this isn't just a temporary job to get me out of the house. This is something that I'm really going to sink my teeth into and become an amazing, producer.
It's truly when I came to Movement. The leadership at this company, the opportunities that they gave me when I first started, there was a Keller Williams office that was in dire need of a good loan officer. And they placed me in that office. And it gave me the ability to create relationships. And it kind of just spread from there. I've always been a very diligent, dedicated loan officer, but I'm not a salesperson. So for me to call on a realtor is not something that I really found to be very comfortable. But Movement gave me those opportunities. And now I have no problems reaching out to a real estate agent to see what I can do for them.
So here's the question that I really wanted to bring you on. We have a bunch of small business owners that listen to this podcast. They all, they're trying to grow their business. They're small, it's not like it's, I doubt that we have like the head of Lowe's listening to this. Maybe he is. I don't know. But with a mortgage, people can pick wherever they want to go. You guys all generally, I know there's, things, but like you guys all do the same thing. You provide a mortgage so somebody can get in the house. How is it that you're able to outproduce all of these people that technically do the same thing as you? Even at Movement, like you guys are in the same company, but people go to you and they pick you. And there's a lot of people that pick you. Why is that? What do you do different?
I am very much a hand holder. My response time is ridiculous.
I will attest to that.
I'm very OCD. I don't like undone things and unread things. But it's also my team. So I've spent years building what I consider the perfect team. So it's not just me. I've got a production manager. I've got a marketing person. I've got an assistant. I've now got 3 junior LOs that help when maybe I'm not as available as, last week when I was in Mexico. I was shipping loans off, giving loans away. So it's about the process that we've got in place. The communication is huge. And then the follow-up before, during, and after the closing.
Yeah, that feels like a really big deal. Obviously, somebody going through, the process of buying a home, that's a really big life event.
Right.
And so I'm sure that the proactive communication and not having to wait 3 days to get a response to a question, that has to go a really, really long way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I say I'm fast, I'm like 60 seconds fast. But also at the same time, I look at every customer as equal. I don't care if you're buying a $100,000 double wide or a $2 million house on the lake. I'm going to treat you the same. And I have so many first-time home buyers that come to me and say, Joe Smo would not give me the time of day. I was the least priority for them. And it doesn't matter who you are and what you're buying. I'm going to do everything I can to help you.
Well, and the great thing about that is, sure, that first transaction may be smaller, but then you build customers for life that way, and they come back to you and again and again and again, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I've got a number of customers I've done multiple loans for. They've sent parents or children or aunts and uncles. I've worked with, I have families that are dedicated to working with me anytime they have a mortgage transaction.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not plugging Dana, but you can obviously use her. We've used Dana for multiple transactions, and I mean, we've bought like 6 houses in our life. I don't know why. We just continue to move. It's me. It's not my wife. But we just decide every 2 years, like, hey, cool, let's move again. But by far the easiest transaction process, even though we had a very challenging loan because we have 2 small business owners closing on a jumbo loan. Very difficult with paperwork. Still the easiest transaction we did. Communication through the roof. I mean, and I think a big thing for me that stands out from a marketing perspective, like that's what I always look at is like the follow-up that you guys do where you almost make it like a pizza tracker. Like you know exactly where you are in the process and what you need to do. And so there's no questions. I'm not like, I wonder if they're doing anything. Like you guys send an update of we're working on this today, just so you know, and you don't have to worry that we're not doing anything.
Right. Well, and also the explanation of the why. All too often a loan officer or their assistant will ask for something, but not explain why.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I need this. So clients get frustrated when it's like, I need something else, but the why is not explained. If you've got a large deposit on a bank statement, I need to document it because it's not a direct deposit. I need to, the government requires that we make sure you're not laundering money, right? Or, we've got, I don't know, you've got a deduction on your pay stub for child support. We've got to get the documentation. This is why, because it showed up on your pay stub.
Yeah. Well, since we have so many small business owners, usually that's difficult for buying a house. Small business owners typically like to show little income, which is great for taxes sometimes and very bad for buying a house. So is there some things that you can do to kind of provide information for the people that are listening if they are looking into buying a house so they can have their stuff together before they have to go through what we just went through?
So, from a traditional standpoint, let me see your tax returns. If you don't qualify now, I can tell you what you need to look at the next year. But we also offer bank statement programs. So you're going to pay a much higher interest rate for that, but we can still get you into a house with showing the deposits going into your bank account. Mm-hmm. And they're really not as painful as people think that they are. We've got some really great products with that as well.
So that's interesting. So rather than relying on the tax returns, you're saying you guys can look at bank statements as another way to verify it.
Yes. So we look at basically the deposits going in and the expenditures going out, and we create income, the debt to income ratio.
I've never heard of that before. That seems really, really helpful for a business owner.
Just be prepared to pay a much higher interest rate. So if we can, we want to go the traditional route.
Sure, that makes sense.
But we do have other options.
Very cool.
And I my wife, she's a real estate attorney, and so she talks to tons of realtors, and I'd say half of them that come through the office have used you guys. And the thing that they always say about Dana is she's the fixer. Like there's never been a loan that goes in there and it's like, we can't do this. You don't hear can't come out of your mouth. So how do you do that? Like all these other people say, no, we can't do that. And you're like, no, there's a way. We'll figure it out.
If there's a way, I will find it.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I think outside of the box, you can't get too outside of the box with mortgage guidelines, but I can find ways, and I have great relationships with my underwriting managers. I can take anything to them. Mm-hmm. And we can look at it and brainstorm and come up with solutions for a customer. But you're right. And that's part of what I love about what I do is I can save something somebody else that fell short, but I can save something to make, someone become a homeowner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so great. I love that focus on problem solving because really any business, like that's what every business does ultimately is solve problems, right? We interviewed Joe Vagnone in a previous on this an earlier episode this season, and he was talking about that same thing in the business broker space, how he likes to solve problems when other brokers say, hey, I can't work with you. He likes to find a way to do it. And it's just like, so many businesses I feel like miss an opportunity. When a customer asks for something, maybe they can't do it, but don't just say no. Mm-hmm. Refer them somewhere, right? Give them something somewhere to go. That's a personal pet peeve of mine when a business is just like, nope, sorry, can't help. It's like, listen, if you can't help, that's cool, but maybe point me in the right direction or something. I really think that's a valuable, I'm sure that's a big part of your success is that you just solve problems for people and figure out how to solve problems.
Absolutely. I had a customer this under contract right now. They came to me. They wanted to buy a house way more than they really needed to buy. But they brought me their 21 tax returns and the draft of their 22. We looked at them, got some tweaks going on, got the tax returns filed. They really wanted to go conventional. There was no way to go conventional. But I was able to get them in FHA, and the payment actually was lower with FHA than it was conventional because of where the credit scores were. So it created a better loan opportunity for them and got them into the price point that they wanted to be in.
Yeah. And it's just so interesting to hear about like the different ways to problem solve, because even if you couldn't do it, if there was just no way, you have people that you would refer them to that would work. And I always answer that in emails when people are like, Ryan, I want to talk to you about working with you. Great. I will talk to you about what you do. And if I can't do it, I probably know somebody that can. And they see me as the hero because of that. And like, I'm not trying to be their hero. I just want to help them solve their problem. And that's what I hear you do all the time.
Yeah. It's like when you build that reputation as a resource, you know, people will come to you and maybe you can't solve every single problem, but you know someone that can. And like, that's just such a valuable, you know, reputation to create.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I refer people to Tiffany all the time when they've got off the wall real estate questions. Credit repair. I mean, I can't help every client because they don't have the credit that's needed, but we've got the resources for them. You know, there's going to be some times where I have to refer them to a local community bank that's going to portfolio something that I can't help them with. But yes, always making sure that the client's taken care of in some capacity.
Love it. So Dana, you've been in this industry for, you said 18 years?
Yes.
So that's amazing. You obviously have a track record of success. What would you say to somebody out there who's maybe thinking about, is this the career path they want to go down? What would you tell somebody who's thinking about the mortgage space?
So the mortgage space right now is a difficult one to get into because of the market that we're in. So be patient and be prepared, but also have money to put into your business. If you don't spend money, you're not going to make money. I mean, when I say I spend money, my marketing assistant's like, whoa. But you know, it's important to pour into your business because you're going to get that much more out. So definitely, you know, focus on whether it be a small event. Don't take realtors to lunch or coffee and ask for business. They don't want to hear that. Yeah. They don't want to hear about what programs you offer. We all offer the same thing. You've got to find your value add, what you're really good at, and market yourself as that, and partner with a successful loan officer like myself. I've got 3 juniors that are doing that right now to grow their businesses. And one day we'll probably take over my business.
Yeah, you can't do it forever. I know you would love to, but you can't do it forever.
My husband would probably kill me if I did. But no, I mean, and for me, I know I don't want to originate forever, but I would like to create some smaller versions of myself and give them the opportunity that I've been given. So that's something that's definitely in the future. And if I need to make them as good as I am so that they can serve customers the way that I do.
Yeah. What's the, real quick, if you can think off the top of your head, what's the biggest loan that you've lended?
Oh Lord, I don't know.
Come on.
I think my largest is right around the $1 million range.
Yeah, because typically the people that are buying $5, $6, whatever $1 million house,
they're cash.
They're cash. They got the money in the bank.
Yes.
They don't do loans on those. It's just poor folk like me that get the loans. Well, great, Dana. We appreciate you coming on. Where can people follow you if they want to learn more about mortgages and you and your business?
Well, they can check out some great video content on Facebook and Instagram, the Meadows Team at movement.com.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we appreciate having you on, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you.